Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. I can't believe you took the tube earlier.
Well, I didn't take the tube to Manchester, did I?
You was on the tube.
Yeah,
I didn't say where to.
I'll tell you what I've done. I drove to the station in Brentwood.
Yeah.
I then got out, walked to the station. I got the overland to Liverpool Street. Then I got the tube from Liverpool Street to Euston Square. Then I walked from Euston Square to Euston Station. Then I got on a train from Euston to Manchester. Then I got off at Manchester, went down the escalators, jumped in a black cab, and here we are at the National Football. What like? When I see
it's
people,
all security
they go,
free.
Of course, security free. What do you know how I roll? What do you think? I walk with like 8 geezers behind me, like FBI.
On
you know, like, yeah, no. And people sometimes say, "Oh my God, Eddie Hearn, what are you doing on the train? How else do you think I was going to get up here?"
Do you not understand then why people would like expect that you'd be at least locally like chauffeured? Like people would expect you'd get chauffeured to Euston, yeah.
Also, if I have a driver from Brentwood to here, what is it? 5 hours? Like the train's 2 hours 7 minutes. I know I've got to get to Euston, but it does save me a couple of hours. And I came up with Jamie and Matty, and we can have a little chat. Like, I know I've got a few quid, but I'm not an arsehole.
You're a man of the people, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I would like to think I'm a normal bloke, but
an upper class, working class hero.
yeah, I'm a kid that was born into a few quid, but works his absolute nuts off day in day out, and that's what I'd like to be remembered of.
I rate it.
Yeah,
I respect it. Arnold Barbosa and Jack Catterall will come head to head today. Just before we talk about them, are you expecting Oscar to be there on fight night?
I don't know. I believe Eric Gomez is coming over, and obviously the week after is Saudi. So whether Oscar comes for the weekend and then goes straight to Saudi, I don't know. This is one of 3 Matchroom Golden Boy fights coming up within that week. Obviously, Catterall Barbosa, Shakur against Floyd Schofield, and Virgil Ortiz against Madrimov. 3 brilliant fights. And yeah, I think when you're looking at Jack Catterall, you've got to say right now he's one of Britain's top pound-for-pound fighters. I mean, he should be undisputed world champion anyway. But he's headlined against Linares, Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, and now Arnold Barbosa, this time for the interim world title, which may end up being the full world title, subject to what Teofimo decides to do. So it's a great fight and a brilliant undercard as well. Bellotti Gomez, I was going to say rematch,
that's
the fight that never happened. Big time. It's going to be, it's going to be really exciting next week. Pat McCormack's in a good step up against Robbie Davis Jr., Zelfa Barrett against Jazza Dickens, Connor Tudsbury making his debut, Will Crawler, and much more. So, Jackie's become a big draw, and he deserves it because he's a real fighter.
Yeah, bring on next week. I do feel sorry for you a little bit, and this isn't because you had to get the tube with us normal people. AJ making fights with Martin Bakole behind your back.
Mad.
Horrible move.
I said to Ben Shalom, I went, "Do you have a good night last night?" I said, what are you talking about? I didn't even get an explanation as to why he said it's the fight's agreed and signed. Yeah. We've not even had one conversation about that fight. Very strange. Not against it, by the way. I think it's a great fight, but we've not had one conversation with anyone about AJ's next fight. So
where do you actually think that's come from then?
What's
the reasoning behind?
I don't know. I mean, just...
sometimes like fake news is put to lure fights, but he's fighting a Jagba, so I don't...
Yeah, I don't know. CLOUT? I mean, look. Listen, I know that Bakole is clout chasing. I would be doing exactly the same thing if I was Martin Bakole. You got to attach yourself to someone's name to get that relevance and that momentum, and that's what he's doing with AJ. I would do exactly the same thing. So, it was a weird one.
If it's not Bakole, it's Wilder.
Wilder was the next day. AJ signed Wilder on Twitter. Signed to fight Wilder. It was like, what on earth?
Where did that... What source was the AJ
I don't know,
Wilder?
but then everyone believes it, and it's like... Not one conversation yet about his next fight. Probably, the week after Feb 22nd, it'll all begin.
Yeah, we'll leave AJ for now. But we know what or how you like your chicken as well. What was it? A little bit of thyme and some piri-piri.
Well, chicken should be marinated, not fucking great fights. I just hate the whole... When they're both world champions, this will be a much bigger fight. I hate it.
Is there method in that for certain fights? I'm not saying this one, but for certain fights.
Like, not being funny, right? Dalton Smith's not going to get a shot at the world title, and he's mandatory till November, December. Adam Azim will not fight for the world title for another couple of years. Why the hell would we want to wait a year or 2 years for Adam Azim against Dalton Smith? They're two brilliant, world-class, undefeated British fighters. It's such a great fight. It just infuriates me. And like, I just feel that. Imagine if I came out and said, "Yeah, my guy beats him. He stops him now, but we just got to marinate it a little bit." Everyone would go mental, wouldn't they? Imagine their reaction. Like, so I don't know why people don't put the pressure on to make fights like that. It's not like there's no money in the fight. There's a fortune in the fight. And it's the fight that neither Dalton or Adam, yeah, nearly called him Alan Azim.
Is there more chance of Dalton than Adam or Alan?
Yeah, is Alan Azim in the building? No. I think, sound like Terry Tibbs there, didn't I? Alan Azim, talk to me. Where are you, Alan? I got a 560 Maserati right outside. You won't fight Dalton Smith, but we'll give you a Maserati. Talk to me. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know you had Terry Tibbs in the bag.
What was I going to say? Marinading, Alan Azim. Yeah, neither Adam Azim or Dalton yet are superstars. They're stars. They've got massive potential. This is the kind of fight that can turn you into a superstar. But are you up for the gamble? And it's a gamble for both kids because they're both tremendous fighters. Adam looked great the other night. This isn't about Alan Azim not being a good fighter. This is about them just not fancying it because they want to milk it a little bit more.
Yeah. Crawford Canelo off, but Canelo Jake Paul. I mean, we haven't spoke to you about that since seemingly on. Without talking about all the details, I just want to know. It's such a ridiculous question to be asking. How do you think that fight goes? Because, and I'm not, the disparity there is one. But
Canelo, Jake Paul.
Floyd and Conor, like he carried Conor for a bit, I believe. Like he probably could have stopped it early and said,
the fight ends.
Does Canelo go in and just smash him up?
No, the fight ends when Canelo wants it to end. But look, Jake is a bigger man and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not competitive, but you will be watching Jake Paul get beat up, and there'll be a lot of people that will enjoy watching that. It does massive numbers, and I get it. I'll watch it. I mean, I've been critical of Jake in the past. I hated the Mike Tyson fight. You can't hate this fight if you're a Jake Paul hater because he's fighting one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Really. By the way, who's not 59 or whatever. He's relatively in his prime. So, yeah, I get it. And Canelo don't care. Canelo's just like, show me the monies and I'll take the fight. So he's thinking to himself, imagine copping 100 mil to bash up Jake Paul. Sweet as a nut, send me the contract.
This is good for Katie and Amanda as well, which I imagine would be on
Jake
Paul
we're
Canelo
talking
card.
We're talking to Nikisa. I believe it'll be a separate card. And listen, I'm very hopeful that we can get an agreement for that fight in the coming weeks.
Final one. Did you see Savannah Marshall's Instagram post?
Yes.
Just want to know what you think of that and like her being invited down to a press conference and then there being kind of nothing offered. And now she's stuck in a bit of like limbo, I guess.
I'm working with Boxer and Ben Shalom, so I'm not going to say anything bad about them. The post is self-explanatory. I saw Bradley Skeet's one as well about Fran Hennessy. Same thing. I just don't know why you would have a women's card and not put on Savannah Marshall, who's former undisputed or current undisputed champion, right? I think she beat HH Diva, didn't she, to win? Yeah. And Fran Hennessy, who's one of the best young prospects in not just women's boxing, in world boxing. You'd want to showcase them, particularly Fran, because her cost is less than Savannah, and it's an 8-rounder or whatever it is. But not my business, not getting involved. I don't know if those fighters are under contract. If they're not, I guess they're off anyway. But it's not a great look. But I think the main reason they're not fighting on March the 7th is because Ben Shalom was busy signing the contract for Bakole AJ. So.
Cheers, Ed.